Hey, warrior, let me ask you something. When was the last time someone looked at you and really saw you? Not the version of you they think they know, not the version that fits their comfortable little narrative, but the real you, the one with fire still burning underneath all that noise, the one who's been quiet, who's been learning, who's been building in silence while they were busy talking. They're still underestimating you, aren't they? And maybe part of you has started to believe them. Maybe you've been carrying their doubt like a weight on your back, their disbelief, their subtle dismissals, the way they look past you in rooms, the way they count you out before you even step up, the way they've written your story without ever asking you what chapter you're really on. But here's what Marcus Aurelius understood 2,000 years ago when he wrote in his private journal, the one he never meant for anyone to see. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. Read that again. You have a power over your mind, not their opinions, not their expectations, not their limited vision of who you are or what you're capable of becoming. Right now, in this exact moment, there are millions of people scrolling through their phones, numbing themselves, medicating themselves with distraction, killing time as if they have an infinite supply of it. They're choosing comfort over growth, safety over courage, the easy lie over the hard truth. They're letting other people's judgments become their prison bars. And the worst part, they don't even realize they're locked up. But you're here. You clicked on this video. That means something is still alive in you. Some part of you refuses to accept the limitations they've placed on your life. Some part of you knows you're capable of more. That's the part I'm speaking to right now. So let me be clear with you, crystal clear. This is your moment. Not tomorrow. Not when conditions are perfect. Not when you feel ready. Right now. This is where your transformation begins, where you stop living down to their expectations and start living up to your potential, where you take back control of the narrative they've been writing about you and start writing it yourself, with discipline, with focus, with the ancient power of Stoic wisdom that has survived empires, wars, and the collapse of civilizations, because it speaks to something eternal in the human spirit. The question is, are you ready to prove them wrong? Now listen. This message is not for everyone. I need to be honest about that from the start. This is not for the people who are looking for shortcuts. This is not for the people who want me to tell them it's okay to stay comfortable. This is not for those who need their excuses validated or their weakness celebrated. There's plenty of content out there for that. Plenty of voices telling you that mediocrity is fine, that you shouldn't push yourself, that wanting more makes you somehow broken or ungrateful. This message is for the few, the ones who still have that fire, the ones who are tired of being overlooked, underestimated, dismissed, but instead of complaining about it, they're ready to do something about it. The ones who understand that while you can't control what other people think, you absolutely can control who you become. And when you change, when you genuinely transform through disciplined action, the whole world has to readjust its perception of you, not because you demanded it, but because you earned it. Through the silent, relentless work that nobody sees, through the daily decisions that don't make headlines but make the person. If that's you, if that fire still burns inside you, then stay with me, because in this video, I'm going to share with you 5 Stoic laws, 5 ancient principles that will help you transform being underestimated from a painful wound into your greatest competitive advantage. These aren't theories. These aren't motivational fluff. These are battle-tested truths that have helped warriors, emperors, and free thinkers maintain their power in the face of overwhelming opposition, misunderstanding, and doubt. By the end of this video, you're going to understand exactly how to use their doubt as fuel, how to convert their dismissal into discipline, how to turn every "you can't" into quiet, unstoppable action that speaks louder than any words ever could. So let's begin. Number 1. Control your reaction, not their perception. Here's the trap most people fall into. Someone underestimates them, dismisses them, counts them out, and they spend all their energy trying to convince that person they're wrong. They argue, they defend, they over-explain, they perform. They exhaust themselves, seeking validation from people who have already made up their minds. And in that desperate attempt to change someone else's opinion, they lose themselves. They give away their power. They let someone else's limited vision dictate their emotional state, their self-worth, their entire day. Epictetus, a man who went from being a slave to one of the most influential philosophers in history, understood this deeply. He said, "We have 2 ears and 1 mouth so that we can listen twice as much as we speak." But more importantly, he taught that some things are within our control and some things are not. Other people's opinions, not in your control. Your response to those opinions, completely in your control. Think about this. When someone underestimates you, what are they really doing? They're revealing their own limitations, their inability to see beyond their own narrow experience, their fear that if you succeed, it somehow diminishes them, their investment in a world that stays predictable and safe. None of that has anything to do with your actual capacity. It's their story, their filter, their prison. The Stoic response is not to fight their perception. It's to become so grounded in your own purpose that their perception becomes irrelevant. You stop needing them to see you. You stop performing for an audience that isn't even paying attention. You redirect all that wasted energy into the work itself, into becoming, into the daily discipline that transforms potential into reality. Let me paint you a picture. There are 2 people in your position right now, both underestimated, both dismissed, both carrying doubt from others. The first person spends their day refreshing social media, checking if people notice them, explaining themselves, getting into arguments online, seeking validation, building a highlight reel of their life to prove they matter. They're exhausted, they're scattered, they're giving their power away every single moment. The second person wakes up before dawn. They sit in silence. They plan their day according to their values, not other people's expectations. They train their body. They sharpen their mind. They work on their craft with obsessive attention to detail. They eliminate distractions ruthlessly. They go to bed, knowing they did everything in their power to move toward their goals. They don't post about it. They don't explain it. They don't need anyone to witness it. The work itself is the point. And slowly, inevitably, they become undeniable, not because they convinced anyone, but because they built something raw. Which person are you choosing to be? Here's what I want you to understand at a level deeper than logic. When you react emotionally to being underestimated, when you let it disturb your peace, you're actually proving them right. You're showing that your confidence is fragile, that your self-worth is external, that you can be shaken. but when you receive their doubt with calm indifference, when you let it pass through you like wind through an open window, when you simply return to your work with quiet determination, you're operating from a completely different level of power, a power they can't touch because it doesn't depend on them. Marcus Aurelius, who ruled the Roman Empire and could have executed anyone who disrespected him, chose a different path. He wrote, "The best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injury, not to fight them, not to prove them wrong with words, but to become so excellent, so disciplined, so focused on your purpose that their opinion becomes microscopic in the grand architecture of your life." So here's your first practice. Starting today, every time you feel that familiar sting of being underestimated, I want you to pause. Take 3 deep breaths and ask yourself, is this in my control? If the answer is no, if it's about someone else's thoughts or words, you let it go. Immediately. You don't engage. You don't defend. You don't carry it. You thank them silently for the clarity they've given you, and you get back to work. Every single time. No exceptions. Type this below if you're ready to commit to this. I control my reactions, not their perceptions. Number 2, use their doubt as a filter, not a wound. Now, let's go deeper. Because here's what most people miss about being underestimated. It's actually a gift. Stay with me on this. When people doubt you, when they dismiss you, when they count you out before you've even started, they're doing you a massive favor. They're revealing who they are. They're showing you exactly who not to bring into your inner circle, who not to share your dreams with, who not to waste your energy trying to convince. Seneca, who was one of the wealthiest and most powerful men in Rome, wrote extensively about the importance of guarding your mind like you would guard your most valuable possession. He said, "Associate with people who are likely to improve you. Welcome those whom you can improve." The process is a mutual one. Men learn as they teach. Look around your life right now. How many people are you letting into your mental space who don't deserve to be there? How many voices are you giving authority to that have never done what you're trying to do? How many opinions are you considering from people who have settled, who have given up, who are living in fear disguised as realism? Being underestimated shows you who these people are. It's a sorting mechanism. It separates those who believe in possibility from those who believe in limitation, those who support growth from those who resent it, those who want to see you win from those who secretly hope you stay small because your expansion threatens their excuses. Think about every great achievement in history. Every innovation, every breakthrough, every transformation. They all faced doubt. They all faced people saying it couldn't be done, it wouldn't work, it was impossible, it was foolish. The Wright brothers were mocked. Edison was called a failure after thousands of attempts. Every single person who dared to think differently, to attempt something difficult, to reach beyond the ordinary, faced a chorus of voices telling them to stop, to be realistic, to accept their limitations. But here's the key. They used that doubt as fuel, not as evidence. They didn't internalize it. They didn't let it define their reality. They let it filter out the energy vampires, the dream killers, the people who had given up on their own potential and wanted everyone else to give up too. And in the absence of those draining voices, they had space to think, space to create, space to focus on what actually mattered. So when someone underestimates you, When they dismiss your goals as unrealistic or your ambitions as delusional, here's what I want you to do. Thank them. Seriously. Thank them for showing you who they are. Thank them for removing themselves from your path. Thank them for creating distance so you can move faster. And then never ever share your real dreams with them again. Not out of anger, not out of revenge, but out of wisdom, out of respect for your own vision, out of understanding that pearls should not be cast before swine. The Stoic practice here is radical selectivity. You become incredibly careful about who gets access to your mind, your energy, your time. Not everyone deserves to know your plans. Not everyone has earned the right to your vulnerability. Not everyone is capable of understanding the magnitude of what you're building. And that's okay. That's not judgment. That's discernment. There's a huge difference. I want you to imagine your mind as a fortress. In ancient times, fortresses had gates. Those gates weren't always open. They were selective. They let in allies, resources, valuable information. They kept out enemies, threats, poison. Your mind needs the same structure. When someone consistently underestimates you, when they diminish your vision, when they speak limitation over your life, they've shown you they're not an ally. Close the gate, not with drama, not with confrontation. Just quietly, firmly close that gate and get back to building your empire from the inside. Here's the beautiful paradox. The fewer people you need to prove yourself to, the more powerful you become. The less you explain, the more you execute. The more selective you are with your inner circle, the faster you move toward your goals. Because you're not hemorrhaging energy trying to convince people who don't want to be convinced. You're not diluting your focus trying to manage other people's perceptions. You're pure. You're directed. You're channeling everything into the work. And let me tell you something about the work. The work doesn't care about their opinions. Your discipline doesn't need their approval. Your morning routine doesn't require their validation. Your training, your study, your craft, your relentless pursuit of excellence, none of it needs an audience of doubters giving commentary. It just needs you, showing up, consistently, quietly, building something they can't see yet, but will eventually have to acknowledge. So here's your second practice. Make a list. Write down the people in your life who consistently underestimate you, who diminish your vision, who respond to your goals with skepticism or negativity. You don't need to cut them off dramatically. You don't need to make announcements. You just need to become aware. And then, consciously, deliberately, you start restricting their access. You stop sharing your real dreams with them. You keep conversations surface level. You protect your vision like the sacred thing it is. And you watch how much faster you move when you're no longer carrying their doubt. Type this if you're ready to protect your vision. I share my dreams only with those who support my growth. Number 3. Build in silence. Let success make the noise. Now, we're getting to the core of Stoic power, and this is where most people completely miss the point. They're so busy trying to prove everyone wrong with words, with posts, with explanations, with updates, with performances. They're documenting every step. They're announcing every intention. They're marketing the journey before they've taken the first real step. And in doing so, they're leaking energy. They're satisfying their need for validation before they've done anything worth validating. The ancient Stoics understood something profound about human psychology. When you talk about what you're going to do, you get a dopamine hit. Your brain rewards you as if you've already done it. You feel accomplished without accomplishing anything. You feel validated without validating yourself through action. It's a trick, a seductive trap that keeps you talking about change instead of actually changing. Marcus Aurelius, who had unlimited power to broadcast his thoughts, who could have had scribes documenting his every move, who could have demanded recognition at every turn, chose something different. He kept a private journal. He wrote to himself for himself. His meditations, which now inspire millions, were never meant to be published. They were his inner work, his silent grappling with virtue, mortality, and duty. And it was precisely that silence, that lack of performance, that gave his words such power. They were real. They were tested in the fire of actual experience, not polished for an audience. Let me tell you what happens when you build in silence. First, you eliminate all the noise, all the commentary, all the unsolicited advice from people who have never done what you're attempting. You create a protected space where your ideas can grow without being prematurely judged, criticized, or influenced by others. It's like a seed underground. It needs darkness. It needs protection. It needs time to develop roots before it breaks through the surface. If you keep digging it up to show people, it never grows. Second, you redirect all that energy you would have spent managing perceptions, responding to comments, crafting updates, explaining yourself, and you pour it directly into the work. Do you understand how much energy that is? Think about how much time you spend thinking about what other people think, checking your phone, wondering if they noticed, crafting the perfect caption. It's exhausting. And it's all wasted, every single second of it. Because at the end of the day, the only thing that matters is the actual progress you made on the actual work. Everything else is theater. Third, when you finally emerge with results, when you've actually built something, achieved something, transformed yourself into something, the impact is tenfold. There's no explanation needed. There's no defense required. The work speaks. Your transformation speaks. The evidence of your discipline speaks louder than any words you could have said along the way. And here's the interesting part. The same people who underestimated you, who dismissed you, who counted you out, they have no choice but to acknowledge reality. Not because you convinced them, but because you became undeniable through consistent, silent, focused action. Seneca wrote about this extensively. He said, "Let us prepare our minds as if we'd come to the very end of life. Let us postpone nothing. Let us balance life's books each day. The one who puts the finishing touches on their life each day is never short of time." What does that mean? It means stop living for future validation. Stop waiting for the moment when everyone finally sees you and approves. Live fully in this day. Do the work this day. Be excellent this day. And if this were your last day, would you spend it arguing with doubters, or would you spend it creating something meaningful? I want to tell you about a concept the Stoics practiced called premeditatio malorum, the premeditation of evils. They would imagine the worst possible scenarios. Not to be pessimistic, but to be prepared, to remove the sting of surprise, to build resilience. When it comes to being underestimated, the worst scenario is that people never acknowledge your success. They never apologize for doubting you. They never give you the recognition you think you deserve. Can you still do the work? Can you still become excellent? can you still transform your life if nobody ever pats you on the back? If the answer is no, then you're building on a foundation of sand. You're still giving away your power. You're still making other people's opinions the source of your motivation. But if the answer is yes, if you can find meaning in the work itself, in the daily discipline, in the process of becoming, then you're operating from true Stoic power. You're unshakable, because your why is internal. Your measure of success is internal. Your validation is internal. You've become the source of your own fire, and nobody can take that from you. Nobody can underestimate something they don't even know exists yet. By the time they see it, it's already real. It's already done. It's already transforming your life. Their opinion becomes a footnote, not the headline. Here's your third practice. Go silent. Pick one major goal, one thing you're building, one transformation you're working on, and tell absolutely no one about it for the next 90 days. Not your family, not your friends, not social media, nobody. Just you and the work. Every single day. No updates, no progress posts, no explaining. Just building. And I promise you, the person you become in those 90 days of focused silence will be unrecognizable to the person you are today. Because you'll have learned something most people never learn. That you don't need an audience to grow. You don't need validation to improve. You don't need recognition to transform. You just need discipline, and silence, and time. Type this if you're ready for 90 days of silent building. My work will speak louder than my words ever could. Number 4, master your emotions, or they will master you. Now, let's talk about the real battle. Because everything I've said so far requires one fundamental skill, emotional mastery. And this is where most people fail, not because they don't know what to do, but because they can't regulate themselves long enough to do it. They let their emotions hijack them. They let anger turn into arguments. They let hurt turn into withdrawal. They let frustration turn into quitting. They're controlled by their feeling instead of being the conscious director of their feelings. The Stoics were obsessed with this concept. Epictetus taught his students, it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. Think about the depth of that statement. He's telling you that someone can underestimate you, dismiss you, insult you, betray you, and none of that has any power over you unless you give it power through your reaction. The event itself is neutral. It's your interpretation, your emotional response, that determines whether it destroys you or strengthens you. Most people are emotional reactors. Something happens, and immediately they react. Someone doubts them, they get angry. Someone succeeds where they haven't yet, they get jealous. Someone criticizes them, they get defensive. They're like puppets. Pull this string, they do this. Pull that string, they do that. They have no pause button, no space between stimulus and response. They're completely at the mercy of their emotional impulses. And that's no way to live. That's certainly no way to build anything significant. The Stoic trains themselves to create space, to observe their emotions rather than be consumed by them, to notice, I'm feeling anger right now. Interesting. Why? What story am I telling myself? Is that story true? Is this feeling useful? Is it moving me toward my goals or away from them? This level of self-awareness is rare. It's difficult. It requires constant practice. But it's the difference between being a victim of your circumstances and being the architect of your response. Let me give you a modern example. You post something online about your goals. Someone comments something dismissive. something that implies you're delusional or unrealistic or not good enough. In that moment, you have a choice. Most people choose reactivity. They write a defensive response. They argue. They try to explain. They let that comment ruin their entire day. They carry it around like a stone in their shoe. They tell their friends about it. They let one negative comment from one person drown out 100 positive ones. The person with emotional mastery, they read it. They feel the initial sting because they're human, but then they pause. They recognize it's just an opinion from one person who doesn't know them, who hasn't walked their path, who has their own pain and projection, and they let it go. They don't engage. They don't carry it. They don't give it any more energy than it deserves, which is 0, and they get back to work. Their day continues unaffected. Their focus remains intact. Their peace remains undisturbed. That's power. Real power. The power to choose your emotional state regardless of external circumstances. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." He was reminding himself daily that the only real control we have is internal. And when you truly internalize that, when you stop trying to control other people, control circumstances, control outcomes, and you focus exclusively on controlling your thoughts, your emotions, your responses, your effort, everything changes. You become calm in chaos, focused in distraction, grounded when everything around you is unstable. But here's what nobody tells you about emotional mastery. It's not about suppressing your emotions. It's not about pretending you don't feel. It's not about becoming a robot. The Stoics felt deeply. They loved. They grieved. They experienced the full spectrum of human emotion. But they didn't let those emotions make their decisions. They felt them, acknowledged them, processed them, and then acted from reason and virtue rather than from impulse and reaction. Think of it like this. Your emotions are information. They're signals. Fear might be telling you something is dangerous. Anger might be telling you a boundary was violated. Sadness might be telling you something matters to you. But just because you feel something doesn't mean you have to obey it. You can feel afraid and still move forward. You can feel angry and still respond with calm. You can feel sad and still maintain discipline. The feeling doesn't dictate the action. You do. This is especially critical when dealing with being underestimated, because that triggers some of our deepest emotional wounds. Our need for belonging, our need for recognition, our need to feel valued. When someone dismisses us, it can feel like a fundamental rejection of our worth. And if we're not careful, if we haven't done the internal work, we'll spend years trying to heal that wound through external validation. Trying to force people to see us. Trying to prove our value to people who don't determine it. The Stoic approach is different. You acknowledge the wound. You sit with it. You understand where it came from. Maybe childhood. Maybe past failures. Maybe society telling you that you're not enough. And then you choose to heal it yourself. Not by getting validation from others, but by validating yourself through disciplined action, through becoming someone you respect, through living according to your values, through proving to yourself, not to them, that you're capable of extraordinary things. Here's your 4th practice. Start a daily emotional inventory. Every evening, before you go to bed, spend 5 minutes reflecting on your day. What triggered you emotionally? When did you react without thinking? When did you let someone else's words or actions disturb your peace? Write it down. Not to judge yourself, but to become aware. and then ask, how could I have responded differently? What would the Stoic response have been? Over time, you'll start catching yourself sooner, in the moment, before you react, before you give your power away, before you let their doubt become your disturbance. You'll create that precious space between stimulus and response, and in that space lies your freedom. Type this if you're committed to emotional mastery. I master my emotions. They don't master me. Number 5. Remember, you will die, therefore live intentionally now. We've arrived at the most powerful Stoic concept, the one that brings everything into focus, the one that makes being underestimated seem absurdly small in the grand scheme of existence. Memento mori. Remember, you must die. Remember that your time here is limited, that every day you waste is a day you'll never get back, that the clock is ticking right now, this very second, and it doesn't care about your excuses, your fears, your need for approval, or your comfortable illusions. The Stoics meditated on death constantly, not because they were morbid or depressed, but because awareness of mortality is the ultimate clarifier. It strips away everything fake, everything superficial, everything that doesn't actually matter. When you truly internalize that your life will end, that everyone you know will die, that all of this is temporary, it changes how you spend your days, what you tolerate, what you prioritize, what you let disturb you. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do and say and think." Imagine living with that level of urgency, that level of clarity, that level of focus. You wouldn't waste time arguing with people who underestimate you. You wouldn't waste energy seeking validation from people who don't matter. You wouldn't postpone your dreams waiting for the perfect moment or the right circumstances or everyone's approval. You would act now, today, with whatever you have, from wherever you are, because you'd understand viscerally that tomorrow is not guaranteed. Think about how much time you've already spent worrying about what other people think. Count those hours, those days, those months, maybe years. What if you could have that time back? What would you do with it? What would you build? What would you become? You can't get it back. It's gone. But you can decide right now, right here, that from this moment forward, you will not give away another second of your precious, finite life trying to convince people who have already decided not to see you. Here's a thought experiment the Stoics loved. Imagine yourself at the end of your life. You're lying on your deathbed. You're looking back at your one chance at existence on this earth. What do you want to see? Do you want to see a life where you let other people's limited vision dictate your actions? Where you played small because they expected you to? Where you gave up on your dreams because they said it was impossible? Where you spent your days seeking approval from people who were themselves too afraid to attempt anything significant? Or do you want to see a life where you went all in, where you faced your fears and acted anyway, where you turned their doubt into determination, where you built something meaningful with discipline and focus, where you lived according to your own values rather than their expectations, where you became, through your own effort and will, someone you're proud of, where you squeezed every drop of potential from your time here? The answer is obvious. But knowing it and living it are two different things. Most people know what they should do. They know they should focus on their goals. They know they should stop caring about others' opinions. They know they should take action. But they don't, because knowing doesn't create change. Decision creates change. And decision backed by consistent action creates transformation. Seneca wrote, "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste a lot of it. Life is long enough, and a sufficiently generous amount has been given to us for the highest achievements if it were all well invested." Read that again. Life is long enough. You have time, but only if you stop wasting it. Only if you become intentional. Only if you understand that being underestimated is not your problem. How you spend your days is your problem. What you do with your time is your problem. Who you're becoming is your problem. I want you to feel the weight of this, not as depression, not as pressure, but as liberation, as clarity. Because when you truly accept that you're going to die, that this is all temporary, that you have a limited number of days left, suddenly all the small things that were consuming your energy become insignificant. The person who doubted you? Insignificant. The criticism you received? Insignificant. The fear of failure? Insignificant. The need for approval? Insignificant. All of it fades away in the light of mortality. And what remains is what actually matters. Your purpose, your growth, your contribution, your character. The person you're becoming through the choices you make every single day. This is the ultimate reframe. You're not here to prove anything to anyone. You're here to live, fully, authentically, with courage, with discipline, with purpose. The people who underestimate you are doing so from their own limited perspective. They're projecting their fears onto you. They're revealing their own resignation, their own belief that extraordinary things aren't possible. That has nothing to do with you. Their doubt is their cage. Don't climb into it with them. Instead, use the time you have. However much or little that is, use it. Start that project you've been postponing. Begin that training you've been avoiding. Take that risk you've been afraid of. Have that difficult conversation. Make that investment in yourself. Stop waiting for permission. Stop waiting for the right moment. Stop waiting for confidence to magically appear. It won't. Confidence comes from action, from doing the thing while you're still afraid, from building evidence that you can trust yourself, from proving to yourself that you're capable. Every single day you wake up is a gift. It's another chance, another opportunity to move toward your potential, to become more of who you're meant to be, to take one more step on the path of discipline and growth. The Stoics called this living in accordance with nature, living in alignment with your highest self, not the self that seeks comfort, not the self that avoids pain, but the self that understands growth requires resistance. That excellence requires sacrifice. That transformation requires surrender of who you've been for who you can become. Here's your fifth and final practice. Every morning, before you do anything else, I want you to say this out loud. I will die one day. Today is not guaranteed. What I do today matters. I will not waste this day seeking approval I don't need. I will not waste this day in distraction or comfort. I will use this day to become someone I respect, to move toward my goals, to live with purpose and discipline. Today counts. Say that every morning. And let it guide every decision you make, every moment you face the choice between the easy path and the growth path. Remember mortality. Remember your time is limited. And choose growth. Choose discipline. Choose becoming every single time. Type this if you're ready to live with urgency. I will not waste my finite days seeking infinite approval. Now, let me bring this all together for you, because these 5 laws aren't separate. They're interconnected. They're all pointing toward the same truth, the same transformation, the same power. When you control your reaction instead of trying to control their perception, you reclaim your energy. When you use their doubt as a filter instead of a wound, you protect your vision. When you build in silence instead of performing for validation, you accelerate your progress. When you master your emotions instead of being mastered by them, you become unshakable. And when you remember death, you gain clarity about what actually matters, and you stop wasting time on everything else. This is the Stoic path. It's not easy. Nobody said it would be. But it's simple, and it's proven. For 2,000 years, this philosophy has helped people maintain their power in the face of chaos, uncertainty, criticism, and doubt. It's helped slaves become philosophers. It's helped emperors remain humble. It's helped regular people transform into extraordinary versions of themselves through disciplined action. The question now is whether you'll apply it. Whether this is just another video you watched, or whether this is the moment something shifts in you. Whether you'll go back to seeking validation and explaining yourself and performing for people who don't matter. Or whether you'll take this ancient wisdom and use it to forge yourself into someone undeniable. Because here's what I know. They're still underestimating you. They probably always will. Some people are so committed to their limited worldview that they'd rather deny reality than expand their perception. And that's okay. That's their journey. That's their limitation. It doesn't have to be yours. You don't need them to believe in you. You don't need their approval. You don't need their recognition. You need your discipline, your focus, your daily commitment to becoming. That's it. That's the whole game. Every morning you wake up, you have a choice. You can live reactively, letting other people's opinions and expectations dictate your emotional state and your actions. Or you can live proactively, directed by your own values, guided by Stoic wisdom, focused on what you can control. The first path leads to frustration, resentment, and wasted potential. The second path leads to growth, peace, and genuine transformation. The choice seems obvious, but most people still choose the first path because it's easier in the moment, because it doesn't require the uncomfortable work of self-mastery, because they can blame others for their dissatisfaction instead of taking responsibility for their lives. But you're different. I can tell because you're still here, because you've invested this time in yourself, because something in you recognizes truth when you hear it, that part of you that's been waiting, that's been quiet, that's been building. That part knows this is your time. Not when conditions are perfect, not when everyone believes in you. Now, with whatever you have, from wherever you are, with their doubt as fuel and your discipline as the engine. So here's what I want you to do. After this video ends, I want you to close your eyes for 1 minute. Just 1 minute. And I want you to visualize the person you're becoming. Not the person they expect you to be. Not the person who stays small to make others comfortable. But the person you're capable of becoming through consistent, disciplined action. See that version of you clearly. What do they look like? How do they carry themselves? What have they accomplished? What challenges have they overcome? What disciplines have they mastered? Feel what it's like to be that person, to have proven yourself, to have earned your own respect, to have built something real, That's not fantasy. That's potential. And the gap between where you are and where you could be is filled with daily decisions, daily disciplines, daily recommitments to the path. Marcus Aurelius faced assassination attempts. Seneca was exiled and eventually forced to take his own life. Epictetus was a slave before he was a philosopher. They all faced circumstances far worse than being underestimated, and they all found power not in changing their circumstances, but in mastering their responses to those circumstances. They all left behind wisdom that outlasted empires. Because truth endures, character endures, disciplined action compounds, and the person you become through this process of self-mastery, nobody can take that from you. Not your critics, not your doubters, not circumstances, not time. It's yours, earned through the fire of daily discipline. The world needs people who have done the inner work, who have mastered themselves before trying to master anything external, who lead by example rather than by explanation, who let their lives speak rather than their words, who understand that being underestimated is nothing compared to underestimating yourself. That's the real tragedy. Not that others don't see your potential, but that you might not honor it, that you might let their limited vision become your ceiling, that you might play small your whole life because you were afraid of their judgment. But today, that changes. Today, you take back control. Today, you commit to the Stoic path. Not perfectly. You'll stumble. You'll have moments of weakness. You'll forget these principles and get pulled back into reactive patterns. That's part of the journey. The Stoics didn't expect perfection. They expected consistent return to practice, consistent recommitment, consistent course correction. That's what makes you Stoic. Not never falling, but always getting back up, always returning to your principles, always choosing growth over comfort. Seneca reminded us, "A gem cannot be polished without friction, nor a man perfected without trials." Your trials, including being underestimated, are polishing you, refining you, preparing you for the weight of the success that's coming. Because when you finally break through, when your work becomes undeniable, when your transformation becomes visible, you'll need to be strong enough to carry it, humble enough to stay grounded, wise enough to remember the journey. And all of this, all of these practices, all of this discipline, it's building that person. The person who can handle success without losing themselves. The person who can be recognized without needing recognition. The person who can be validated without requiring validation. That's the ultimate freedom. And it's available to you right now. Not someday. Right now. In this decision, in this commitment, in this moment of choosing to stop giving your power away and start building something real. Will you take it? Will you walk this path? Will you prove them wrong, not through words, but through transformation? Will you let their doubt be the last doubt that ever affects you? I believe you will, because you wouldn't be here otherwise. You wouldn't have watched this far. You wouldn't have felt that resonance. So let's seal this commitment. I want you to comment below. Tell me, which of these 5 laws resonated most with you? Which one are you going to focus on first? Are you going to control your reactions? Use doubt as a filter. Build in silence. Master your emotions. Or live with the urgency of mortality. Pick one. Commit to it. Write it down below. That act of public commitment will strengthen your resolve. It will make it real. And if this message helped you, if you felt something shift, do me a favor. Share this video, not for me, but because someone in your life needs to hear this. Someone else is struggling with being underestimated. Someone else is giving their power away. Someone else is waiting for permission to start becoming. Send them this. Plant a seed. Be part of their transformation, the way this video might be part of yours. Like this video, subscribe to this channel, because we're building something here. A community of people who refuse to accept limitation, who choose discipline over comfort, who understand that the Stoic path is the path to genuine power. And I'm going to keep creating content to support you on that journey, to remind you when you forget, to challenge you when you're slipping, to celebrate with you when you break through. But most importantly, remember this: you are not who they say you are. You're not who they think you are. You're not limited by their imagination or their fear or their projection. You are who you choose to become through your daily actions, through your discipline, through your commitment to growth, through your courage to continue even when nobody's watching, nobody's cheering, nobody's believing. That's where real transformation happens. In those quiet moments when you choose yourself, when you choose growth, when you choose the Stoic path. They're still underestimating you. Good. Let them. While they're busy doubting, you'll be busy becoming. And one day, not someday, but one day soon if you commit to this, they'll look up and see what you've built, what you've become, and their underestimation will transform into acknowledgement, not because you needed it, but because reality has a way of asserting itself. Excellence has a way of becoming undeniable. Discipline has a way of producing results that can't be ignored. But by then, by the time they see you, you'll have already moved on. You'll be focused on the next mountain, the next challenge, the next version of yourself. Because the Stoic doesn't climb to be seen. The Stoic climbs because climbing is who they are. Growth is who they are. Discipline is who they are. And no amount of doubt or dismissal or underestimation can change that, because it's internal, it's unshakable, it's yours. So walk this path with me. Walk it with the ancient Stoics who carved this trail through time. Walk it with everyone who has ever been underestimated and turned that into fuel. Walk it with yourself, with the part of you that knows you're capable of more. Walk it one day at a time, one decision at a time, one disciplined action at a time, and watch how your life transforms, how your character strengthens, how your peace deepens, how your power grows. This is not the end. This is the beginning of you proving them wrong, not for them, but for you. The beginning of you honoring your potential instead of hiding it. The beginning of you walking the Stoic path toward genuine transformation. I'll see you there, warrior. Now go. Build in silence. Master yourself. Live with purpose. And let your life be the proof they never saw coming. Comment below. Like and subscribe. And keep walking the Stoic path.